The NFT markets are going to get a real boost this month with two major airdrops, one from Blur and the other from Sudo Swap. So we're going to investigate both of these and the implications for the market as a result. Now, if you're new here, please do subscribe to the channel. First and foremost, let's just quickly start here with Bitcoin and a little bit of an update. As you saw yesterday, we did actually break down from the price structure. We deviated above. We're back in this kind of channel here, and we are under $23,000, which is acting as a resistance over the last 8 or so hours here. Yesterday, we started to see the DXY, the dollar index, creep up yet again. This red line here, quite important. This was a previous level of support, flipped as resistance, and it's come back into it yet again, tagged it, but now slightly below once more. Let's hope for risk assets it stays below this line. Generally though, it is in a downtrend. We topped back at the end of September 2022, but let's jump in to today's main content. So generally the NFT marketplaces have been ticking up here with increased daily active users and volumes. Now this gives us a little bit of an analytics over the last 7 days for NFT marketplaces volume by ETH. And we can see that the biggest traded places right now are both Blur and OpenSea. OpenSea has held the crown for a very long time, and we're starting to see more disruptors enter the space and gain more market share. The orange is Blur and the blue OpenSea. As you can see, they're pretty much neck and neck. 26th, we had Blur 7,600 ETH traded, OpenSea 9,000. And then just a couple days back on the 28th, Blur 6,600, OpenSea 6,800 ETH, very much closing the gap. And then yesterday, OpenSea 6,700 and Blur 5,700. So these two are very much neck and neck here. And when we look at this Delphi stat that they posted, this is showing us the overall market trend for NFTs. Of course, the peak back in January of 2022 on the chart was $16 billion worth of trade for that month. It's come down significantly since then, obviously with the bear market. November, we tapped below $1 billion on monthly volume. And in December, we had our first month of increased usage here for NFTs. And would you guess the platform leading the charge was that of Blur. So Blur had the biggest overall volumes in December. So are we starting to see a little bit of shifting of the guard here with Blur doing more volume? Or is this purely down to the airdrop farmers? Well, either way you look at it, 13.3 billion was the valuation fully diluted of OpenSea back near the start of 2022 with a $300 million Series C funding round. So in my mind, this means that the Blur airdrop, if they're doing a very similar kind of numbers as OpenSea right now, it should be valued quite high, and this could be a rather juicy airdrop for participants. Now, you needed to have been farming this for quite some time. I totally missed this one, and I'm not a huge NFT trader, and this does require you to actually risk your ETH by bidding on the markets and trying to raise the floor prices here. So quite funny gamification and mechanics behind this one. So this is the third Blur airdrop. Airdrop 3 is for traders who place bids on Blur and will be the largest Blur airdrop overall. So this is scheduled for February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, and you get points for your bids. So it says points are rewarded to bids on collections based on the collection's 24-hour volume. So higher volume collections, the higher your bids, the more points you get. And within a collection, the bid that has the highest risk earns the vast majority of the points. I.e., if the floor price is 1.01 ETH and there's 100 bids at 1 ETH, if you bid at 0.99 ETH, you're not going to get many points. There's 100 people ahead of you. If you do take the YOLO trade and actually bid at the floor 1.01, you would get the lion's share of the points and thus increase your overall opportunity to get more of this airdrop. The longer your bid is active as well, the more points you'll receive. So as I say, you would have needed to have got on this quite a bit earlier. There is still an opportunity, I believe, for this airdrop, however, but I think you really would have to risk a lot of capital at this time. You can see the points basis here, the listing loyalty points. You can also get the kind of booster and some of the top traders on here right now with some huge points totals being racked up. So what this has meant is there's going to be additional volume on here due to the fact people setting up their floor prices nice and high to get more points for this airdrop. Well, then if you hold a load of NFTs and you want to sell them, you're probably going to get the best prices here on Blur. And especially if you hold a large quantity, you can dump them onto Blur as there's going to be plenty of liquidity liquidity here. So the question is, will this liquidity be sticky after the airdrop? And can it maintain this increasing market share? Or did people just come here for the farming rewards? Now this, I would suggest, is a more NFT trading venue for the NFT traders. It has some of the biggest backers, Punk6529, Zeneca, Keyboard Monkey, and other notable NFT influencers behind it. And so what I'm thinking will happen here is the Blur airdrop will be coming to a load of people. They may well dump the token initially, as many people are just farming these rewards, trying to make a profit, which is fair game. But I do think afterwards, if the valuation is somewhat reasonable, the Blur token price could well be in a juicy position to actually make some gains on, as the discrepancy between its valuation and that of OpenSea will probably be quite large. Now overall, I really do like the UI of Blur. It kind of has this good trading feel about it. You can set up different viewpoints of the NFT collections. You get all the activity, kind of like Deck Screener does for you. See all the buyers, see all the sellers, and then behind this, they've also got a depth chart for the marketplace just behind my head there. But overall, I really do like the UI of it, and it has got some significant traction here. And typically when people start to use a dApp like this, if they're enjoying their experience, they're likely to continue using it afterwards. So hopefully this will have a good sustained market valuation way beyond this final airdrop. Then the second airdrop this month is that of Sudo Swap as well. This one is quite an innovative protocol. It's designed in AMM for NFT traders. So this airdrop started to come out yesterday. The airdrop is for liquidity providers and also the OXMON holders as well. That is the NFT collection. And Sudo token holders will be able to vote on on-chain governance proposals, and the tokens are initially non-transferable at this moment in time. So quick thread on this one. What is SudoSwap? This is essentially the Uniswap of NFTs. It's an AMM model. So essentially, say you want to come to market here, you wanted to pick up 10 of the NFTs at an estimated value of 1 ETH. If you wanted to become an LP provider, you would need to buy 10 of these NFTs and then supply 10 ETH on the other side, so a total of 20 ETH. You can then specify and customize your bonding curve, kind of like Uniswap V3 pools, and you will earn the trading fees when a trader uses your pool to buy or sell an NFT. So these early LP providers who have provided a lot of liquidity to these marketplaces are going to get handsomely rewarded here. The initial supply of this token will be 60 million Sudo. The XMON holders, this is the overall governance token, will get the lion's share here, 41% of all tokens. OXMON's NFT holders get 0.9 million tokens, 1.5%, and the LP providers 0.9 million tokens, 1.5% as well. Treasury 25%, Sudo Labs gets 15%, and the team 15%, with a 1-year cliff vesting schedule here as well. All details within this thread, I'll leave it down below. And if you haven't seen the UI before, this is what it is, SudoSwap. So essentially you come here, you can provide liquidity for these, or you can just trade in and out of these pools. As it says, the swap fee is 3%. So the LP providers actually get a lot of rewards here if they're in frequently used pools, and people do make a lot of ETH by being LP providers here on this site. If you just come down here, you can see the bonding curve and the implications if you are to buy NFTs from this pool, and also if you were to sell NFTs into this and extract ETH from the pool, how it affects things. So this really has taken NFT marketplaces to the next level of financial innovation. It is a very, very cool design and could be a market leader in the years to come. Now you saw XMON holders. These are the overall token holders, these kind of governance tokens. There's only a 10,000 capped supply of this, only 2,500 circulating. They have a hefty price tag, which does put people off, but of course you can buy fractions of these. But those who have XMON right now, and a lot of whales do hold XMON, for every 1 XMON you lock, and you have to lock it for 30 days. Once it's locked in here, you can't get it back out until the end of that period. But for every 1 you lock for 30 days, you get 10,000 of these Sudo tokens. Now, I've seen people estimate the value of this Sudo token to be somewhere between $1 and $2 a piece. So this is a rather hearty airdrop for those. So you lock 1 XMON, $20,000 price point, you would get 10,000 of these back as a result of doing this. So I do think this could drive the XMON price up here. So for locking 20K's worth of XMON, you would get 10,000 Sudo back. So if you divide the one by the other, that puts it at a price point of around $2. Probably an oversimplification, but gives you a bit of a ballpark estimate. It says this lock drop period is open until March the 2nd, so a lot of time for this to happen. I looked through the contracts earlier and it seems around $13 million worth of this XMON token is currently locked, which is a decent percentage of supply locked already. So I do think this one actually will move a bit higher here due to the supply and demand dynamics generally. And I also think a lot of people will be happy to lock some of these tokens to get their hands on 10,000 Sudo tokens as well, as it seems a fairly decent risk to reward play to actually get involved with. So again, what we're seeing here is another big airdrop. There's obviously another potential as well to actually get involved with this one right now. It's still open, but the effects on this. So what I'm trying to get at here is, what is the thesis behind this? Well, the thesis is during the month of February, there's going to be a load of tokens airdrop to NFT holders, JPEG traders. So we're going to see increased liquidity come to these markets. This should, in theory, boost the amount of volume on these NFT collections. So I think NFT marketplaces can do very well. NFT floor prices generally will go up, especially the premium collections. We typically see that people will trade using these free funds they've just received and maybe start to flip lower value collections and then try and get up to blue chip items. This is the kind of cycle we've seen time and time again already. And as we see more volume come to these exchanges, this means their valuations can start to go up as well. So if we start to see a monthly volume for NFTs go from say 1 billion up to 2 billion or 3 billion, then you start to see a repricing of these various tokens. On top of that, if Blur and Sudo get very high valuations, we could also see a repricing for some of these tokens as well. So the NFT marketplaces overall, not just the NFT collections, but also the tokens attributed to the marketplaces, do seem to have some tailwinds here going into February. Yet another narrative that is clearly on the table here. And with the recent news from Jeff Bezos and Amazon coming to the NFT world, around the month of April, there seems to be a lot going in favor of NFTs right about now. If you haven't checked that video out I posted just the other day, I'll leave it at the end of this one. But let me know your thoughts and feelings on this. Do you think NFTs are about to get a bit of a season? And will we see some repricing for these various marketplaces? I hope you enjoyed this one and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.